and my guess is that the war would stop. So this is what I would do. I have no cause at all. I see no reason for the United States to give a veto to Zelensky.
Mhm.
Who is he? What does he represent? The Ukrainian people want peace. This is what the most recent Gallup poll
Yeah.
showed. If the U.S. and Russia agree on something, it doesn't really matter, frankly, whether Ukraine and Europe agree on it. Everybody's using the United States. It's the U.S. war machine.
Hmm.
NATO is the U.S. Funding is the U.S. Zelensky is ruling by martial law, completely dependent on the U.S. Flow of funds and flow of arms. So all of this is begging. But if Trump says, no, we stop, they can say what they want. But either the war will stop or Russia will just completely defeat Ukraine, one of the two. And my guess is that the war would stop. So this is what I would do. I have no cause at all. I see no reason for the United States to give a veto to Zelensky.
Mhm.
Who is he? What does he represent? The Ukrainian people want peace. This is what the most recent Gallup poll
Yeah.
showed. He rules by martial law. Okay. What about the Europeans? Who are they to say no to peace? This war has been a war between the United States and Russia. And who are these European politicians? Starmer with his 20% approval rating, Merz with his 20% approval rating, Macron with his 20% approval rating. Their own publics don't even support them. Why should they dictate U.S. foreign policy? So, frankly, I don't think they can or should dictate U.S. foreign policy. I don't think Trump should aim for or care about what Ukraine and Europe say about this. If Trump ends the war, it's in Ukraine's overwhelming interest, and the Ukrainian people want that no matter what Zelensky says.
Right. But knowing Trump, we don't know which way it's going to go. In case a deal does not come on is not there on the table or nothing is agreed upon.
I don't think that there's a security threat to the United States other than nuclear war, which is possible. And this is one of the reasons why all wars of major powers should be stopped.
Hmm.
But there is no other threat other than the fact that the American people are sick of this. We're at war all the time. Trump came into office promising to end these wars. If he doesn't end the wars, if he's too weak, too incoherent, too inconsistent, too ignorant, too cowardly, what it will do is just further weaken the American faith in their own political institutions, which is already very, very low, I have to say. So America is in a political crisis. Trump hardly commands the widespread support of the American people. They would like him to fulfill a campaign pledge to end this war. It was supposed to be in 24 hours. Now it's the balance of 9 months or 8 months. He should get on with it. I think it's part of Putin's and Russia's strategy to win the war on the battlefield. I think they're ready to stop the war on the basis of clearly laid out terms, not on the basis of a ceasefire that settles nothing. The strange thing is that the call for an unconditional ceasefire became the rallying call of the warmongers, actually, in this perverse way. What it means is Macron, Merz, Starmer, and the U.S. neocons, they don't want to talk about underlying causes of the war. They see that Russia's winning on the battlefield, so they want that battle field to be stabilized, at least without addressing the underlying root causes. I don't think Russia has an interest in that or will follow through in that way. I think what the Russians have been saying for years
Hmm.
is get to the underlying causes. We don't want NATO on our border. We don't want American missile systems on our border. We want to be secure in our own neighborhood. Give us that, and then the war stops. So that's, I think, the difference of view right now. And my guess is that if the U.S. doesn't deliver on something more fundamental about the causes of the war, Russia will continue its war effort and will continue to win.
What, in your opinion, Trump will have to offer Putin to stop this war?
I think that there are basically three issues. One is no NATO enlargement. This, to my mind, is a sine qua non. It makes sense. I've always believed that Russia is right in this. I know, of course, through extensive history, that the United States promised no eastward enlargement of NATO all the way back in 1990 and then cheated on that promise after 1992. So this is condition number one. Condition number two is about territories. And there, Russia has made clear claims for about 20% of Ukraine's territory in 4 regions or oblasts, plus Crimea. And whether and how there's a basis for compromise, that is part of the negotiation. And then the third is the security arrangements that would follow. Ukraine's neutrality, a limit of militarization in Ukraine and along Russia's borders and by Russia. So some kind of security arrangement that would follow. These are the 3 main conditions for ending this war. They're all within reach. There was an agreement that was nearly completed in April 2022. Yeah. The United States stopped that agreement. That was called the Istanbul process. Putin has said what we need is the Istanbul plus process. That's basically correct. There are things to negotiate, but it's not that much room for negotiation. And ending the war on the basis of no NATO enlargement, Ukrainian neutrality, and some territorial changes is perfectly plausible, would be good for Ukraine, good for the United States, good for Europe, and should proceed.
I'm not asking you to crystal gaze, but if you were to just talk about what you think is going to be the outcome of this summit.
Trump wants applause at the end of this summit. And so the question is how he judges what's going to get him applause. If good news, positive spin is going to get him applause, he'll aim for something along those lines. Remember, it's also possible that Russia and the United States announce things not related to Ukraine that are positive, at least to get some applause. So they could announce joint economic activities for developing minerals, or joint activities in the Arctic, or a return to nuclear arms talks, which would be a wonderful thing, by the way. So there are other areas where they could make positive announcements. When it comes to Ukraine, what is needed right now, as I've explained, is clarity on the U.S. side that it's going to stop the conditions that led to this war. But that won't give Trump easy applause, because the security state in the U.S. and in Europe will call him an appeaser, will attack him for being weak. If the president is strong enough and understands his job and gutsy enough, he would call for peace. But Trump is not a strong, clear, gutsy politician. He's somebody who just loves accolades. And so I'm not sure about the Ukraine part of this story.